Hello everyone, my name is Jordan and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be working on the Skywars series yet again. So it's been a while since I went over this, so let's just hop into some of the GitHub stuff and get a feeling for what we were doing last. Got our chat util, data handler, okay. Some basic stuff in here. Okay, here's where it gets good. Game, got a to-do in there. Game player, awesome. And we have our game team. Okay, awesome. So I went ahead and reviewed this as well a little bit earlier. So I generally know what we were trying to do. I didn't watch the video though, so if I miss anything that I said I would do this episode, I probably won't get around to it because I didn't watch that one yet. But I will review that for the next one. Anyway, let's go ahead and hop right into it. So let's work on team stuff. I think it's a good idea. So we had our game team in here. How can I make an improvement? I think this will work pretty well. Team class working fine. Yeah, cool, awesome. So this should work just fine. Let's actually make a get player method in here, and also a get team, but we don't want setters in here. And the reason we don't want setters is because we only want these objects up here to be set on constructor, so that this statement will always be correct. If we had people able to set the player object at runtime, that could get a little messy. So let's go ahead and go down, not down in here. Let's make a, well, let's change constructors to object. That's probably a better. So object instead, and we're going to go ahead and make a new class in here, and it's going to be a num, our numerator. I think, I'm not sure. I've always never been sure how to pronounce that properly. And we're going to go ahead and set this as game player state. Okay. And while we have this, actually, let's delete that. We don't want it there. Inside of game player is where we're going to have it. We're going to have a public enum game player. Game player state. And we're also going to have inside of our game team, we're going to have a public enum game team state, because these objects will be a little bit different. For instance, we could have inside of our game player state, we could have a live spectator or whatever, and inside of our game team we can say how many of these people are left alive or whatever, things like that. We may end up removing this in the future if it is not that necessary though, but we'll see about that. That's just a general idea I have right now. So game player state, we're going to set this up. Private game team state. Actually, we don't want that in there. We want that in game team. Probably a smarter place to put it. Game team state. Game team state. Okay, cool. I think we're going to work on team support more over as soon as we finish the general skeleton of the actual game. And I actually just made a mistake. I didn't go to get first. Welp, I suppose I can just... only really made changes inside of here. I'm going to quickly move all this over into a new branch for Git, just so I don't mess this up. So I will be right back. Okay, it looks like I was just able to create a new branch, and it didn't mess with anything. So that's good. I almost had a heart attack there. All right, cool. So that's good to go. Let's look inside of our config, single server mode. Okay. Let's go ahead and make an option for setting the max server or max games. So max games is going to be equal to -1. And then we're going to say if this is -1, unlimited games will be allowed to operate. Okay. And we're just going to go ahead and say games limit is going to be equal to getConfig.getInt. Max games is what I set it as, correct? Yeah, cool. So that'll work just fine. Games limit is always going to be set to 0. Registering game. Yep, it works just as we would expect it to. Okay, let's go ahead and do our game class here. And let's go ahead and make our spawn point system. So let's go ahead and just make a dummy, well, game info. So let's make a dummy game info file here just to see how it would operate. Let's say game info here. Oops. Gameinfo.yml is what that should be. Gameinfo.yml. Okay. So now that we have this good to go, we have games and then our name is the structure. So we're going to say games, 2 spaces, and then we're going to go ahead. I believe this is a string. Yeah, so it would be a string. We're just going to say islands or something. I don't know. So this will end up being a lowercase version of this. So we're going to just go ahead and say, well, yeah, this will be loaded in as a lowercase name. Actually, I don't think we probably, no, I think we need to care. Yeah. Well, it'll actually operate just fine. That'll be fine. We don't need to care about the capitalization of this. I was thinking if we should care about it, then we have a display name and all that, but never mind. We're good. Okay, so we're gonna have a display name here, which is gonna be set to like islands or something. We're gonna say max players. It's going to be 8. I keep doing those semicolons there. We need min players as well. So min players is going to be what?
What?
I'm recording a video. What is this? Oh, cool. Nice. I failed. Are you freaking kidding me? Oh, it's a report card. I expected that. Okay. Can you close it all the way? Thank you. So we need to set our min players to 2 at least. Let's just go ahead and say, oh yeah, is team game. Is team game. It's going to be false. We don't want teams on this map. Whoops, closed out a game there. Spawn points now. So we can do this like this. We can say spawn points, and we can go ahead and have. Let's just go ahead and have like. I don't know how I want to do this. Could be really interesting. Could be just an array of a string, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know how I want to do this. Really could be any format. Okay, so we're just gonna make a general note that setting spawn points via the whatchamacallit, via actual configuration files is discouraged, but we will provide a format generally in the way we parse these spawn points, so that people will know if they ever need to edit them in the config file for whatever reason they can. It's not impossible, it's just discouraged because we don't want you to break our stuff, if that makes any sense. Okay, so we need to go ahead and iterate over that now. So we're just gonna say for string, for string point colon file configuration at get string list. And so this is going to be games dot plus game name plus spawn points. All right, so let's jump back into game info, or back into our game Java file here. So we have our string. So let's give this a format. We want x and then a point with a comma, then a y with a point, and then a comma, and then a z with a point, and then a comma. Coordinates will never have commas in them. This is why I will know this will work. So, yeah, that's how that's gonna work. And so that shouldn't be too hard to parse. What we need to do is we need to say try and catch. Let's make this graceful here, and we're gonna say array index out of bounds exception. Actually, let's just say exception because that would be a little bit better. And we can just go ahead and say skywars.getInstance.getLogger. Oops, getLogger.severe failed to spawn point with metadata point or game name. Okay. What that basically will do is whenever there's an issue with the system we're about to write, it will log into the console and it will not give us an exception, because the only possible exception is going to happen when people edit this string manually. Well, I'm not going to say that because that'll curse me, but that's essentially what it's going to say. It's going to say failed to load spawn point. Exception type colon, and then we'll just say EX, just so we get a general notation of what it is. So if someone sends this to us and say, hey, this isn't working, then you know why you have the exception there, so you can play with it. Okay, so now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and say string array values is going to be equal to point.split at our comma. So now this is where it gets messy. Now we have our x, our y, and our z. So let's go ahead and say int x is going to be equal to values index of 0 dot split at our colon index of 1, and then we have to wrap all of this in an integer dot parse int. So let's go over exactly what we just did. We went ahead and we took this and we converted our string that we have up here, and this is now going to be equal to x colon 0, comma y colon 0, z colon 0. And so what this means essentially is these are our points, except it's an array form and not a string. When we're getting this x value in here, we're taking x colon 0 we're taking x colon 0 and we're converting that into x comma 0 and then converting that into 0. If this makes any sense, which it should. So we're taking this, taking it and putting it into that, taking that and turning it into this 0, and that's basically how that works. So we can do the same thing in here for the other values. So I will just copy this method down twice, say yz, and change this to 1 and 2. So in essence, this should now work. Let's change these to doubles though. Parse double, because that's how we're going to save them. So say double.parse double. Let me just change that to double as well. And the reason why I'm having them as doubles is because doubles are how coordinates normally are, and they have the decimal value, so you can be more precise in where you put your player. So there we go. We're good to go. We now have our spawn point here. So let's create our location. So we're going to say location is going to be equal to a new location. This is going to be with world x, y, z, and yaw and pitch. You could add them. I'm not going to because it's really not necessary, but you can. And then we can just go ahead and say spawn points.add location. So very nice and easy system here for doing all that handling. So we're good with these basic configuration options. Our is team game needs to be moved to basic config options because that's how we have it set up now. So let's set it down here. We can say this dot is team game is going to be equal to our get boolean is games dot plus game name plus is team game. So that'll work just fine. So looks like it's working. Let's also get a display name going at the top here. So private string display name. And up at the very top of here, we can say this dot display name is just going to grab that value out of our config, which I keep mistakenly doing the wrong way. Okay. Cool. Let's go ahead and delete our game info because we don't need that anymore. That was just for referencing our structure. Okay, so let's go ahead and make some getters in here. So is team game, get max players, get spectators, get players, get min players, get spawn points is not necessary, get display name is. cool. Actually, we'll see about this. We'll see how that will work out. Okay. So let's go ahead and make a join method here. Public, actually, we need a game state. So let's go ahead and say public class, public enum game state. And this is going to be dot lobby, not dot, I forgot it's not Swift. Lobby, what would it be? Starting, in-game, or active, and then we can say deathmatch or ending. We can just go ahead and be okay with that. So active game information is where this would fall. We can say private game state, game state. We're going to set this by default equal to lobby. And we'll have our get game state here. And we're going to have a public boolean is state, game state state. We're going to return get game state equals state. Okay. Now that we're good to go with all of this, we can now create our join and our quit methods. So we're going to say public void join game player. We're going to say if game player dot is team class return. Actually, yeah, that'll be fine. Actually, let's make this a boolean so we can say return false, just to say, hey, you screwed up. Okay, so now we have that good to go. We can say game player dot. Actually, we need something else in here. We need a private location lobby point. So, okay. Here's where things is going to get interesting. Well, no, all these games are going to have lobby points. That's not going to change. Okay. How do I want to do that? Well, I think we can serialize locations easily, so we'll say this dot lobby point equals file configuration that gets. Oh, that's not a thing. Okay, we can't get them very easily. We will use the same method we set in here. Okay. So we're going to change this guy to be file configuration. Actually, we need to wrap this all in a try catch. So try catch exception. To do log. Right here, this is going to be, instead of point, it's going to be file configuration that get string games dot plus game name plus spawn point or lobby point. And we're just going to say lobby point. Boom. Change this from point to be. Oh. Well, we will load that in right that. And we're going to change this to failed to load lobby point. Okay. Now that we're good to go, we can say, actually, not return false. Whoops, my mistake. We can say if is team game, actually, no, and is team game, or and is not team game, rather, return false. Let's go into our game player real quick, and we can go ahead and say public void teleport. Location. I'm just gonna say if is team class, then we're gonna say get player.teleport location. Otherwise, we're gonna say get team.teleport location. Cool. And then inside of our game team, we can just add that in real quick so we don't have any errors. Public void, whoops. Public void teleport location. And we're just gonna say to do. Okay, cool. Let's also go into here while we still can. Not while we still can, while we're here. And say public void send message, string message. We just have a to-do stub in there as well. Okay, public void send message, string message. We're going to say if is team class, then we're going to say get team.send message, message. Otherwise, we're going to say player.send message, chat util.format message. We're good to go there, so we can send the messages now as well. So we can say actually we can say if is state lobby. So if we're in lobby, they can still join. That's how this is going to operate. Essentially. Actually, if it's lobby or state starting, because that's not started yet. They can still join if it's starting. Otherwise, we're just going to return false and say, actually, we can add them as a spectator. So we can say get spectators.add game player and to process as spectator. Return true, I guess. And right here we can also return true because it didn't fail. We can say get players.add game player. Game player.send message. Welcome. Okay, hold on. Actually, we can send a message later. We'll figure that out. But what we want to do is we want to say, all the way down here, say public void send message, string message. No, not display name. I don't understand IntelliJ's autocorrect half the time. Send message, string message. This is just going to iterate over our game players. Get players, game player.send message, message. That's just going to send the message to everyone so we can broadcast. So we can say get, or actually send message. We can say plus, and then say like in, I don't know, orange maybe. Say plus game player dot get name, which will be another method that we have to go make now. What? No, that's not how I want that. Okay, we're gonna say if is team class, then return get team dot get name, which we will also method get name, and I'll just have this return empty. So everything in the team is to do, but that's okay. Otherwise, we can just return player.get display name. Cool. So player.get name. Obviously, this can be changed based upon whatever we want. Change that to a little plus in brackets because that looks nicer. And then inside of our parentheses, maybe gray. I think gray is 9. No, that's blue. We can say NA and then N7 again. Okay, so we can just say get players dot size plus, and we can say plus get max players. Cool. So we can say if. Oh yeah, that's another check I forgot to do. We need to say if get players dot size is equal to get max players, and we're gonna say return false because we can say game player dot send message in red here. This game actually, yeah, we can say this game is full. Oh no, and actually. Yeah, that'll be fine for now. We can come back and change that in the future to work with Bungie if this isn't going to work with Bungie for whatever reason. Yeah, this should work. Okay, so now that that's good to go, let's look at our checker here. So we can say if get players dot size is now equal to get max players. Actually, get min players. And we are not in starting. We need to say set state. Set. Where is set state? set game state. Change this to set state because it looks cleaner. Set state starting. You can say send message. We'll say like a slash maybe. No, I don't know. It would be good. I guess an exclamation point would work. Game is now starting. Please wait. Just the game. Okay, the game will begin in, I don't know, 20 seconds. Actually, I think that's good. So we need to go ahead and say public void start countdown, and we'll just say start countdown here. We can do this for now. Yeah, there's not a whole lot that we're able to get done in a very short amount of time that I have here. So we've been here for half an hour. We haven't gotten a whole lot done. But I think this is pretty decent. Okay. Let's see. What else could we just quickly add in here? Process a spectator, yeah. Oh, we need to teleport them. Haha. We need to say game player dot teleport to lobby point, actually. That's not what we want. We want to say is state lobby, and we want to do a question mark. I'll explain what this is in a second for people unfamiliar. Then we want to say lobby point. Otherwise, no, for now. Obviously, that wouldn't actually work. So what this is doing, this little statement here, is we're checking. It's basically a short if statement is the way I view it. That's probably wrong somewhere, but that's how I see it. So we have our is state lobby here. We're going to have a question mark, lobby point, and then a colon, no. What does that mean? Well, this means, I don't want to do a comment. I'm too lazy to type this all out. If the game state is lobby, then we want to say, okay, let's teleport them to the lobby point. Otherwise, let's teleport them somewhere else. And this can work with literally anything. It doesn't have to be location. And this is the same way you do it in other programming languages such as Swift or JavaScript or so on and so forth. And I'm using it a lot in recent projects. It is very helpful. Just saying, that's something to know. I used to see that in larger projects, and I would be like, what does this mean? And it was just really confusing, but no longer. Okay. So that's pretty good. I think this is essentially... yeah, this is essentially pretty good. I'm probably going to do some off-camera work as well, because doing it all on camera is a little much. But we'll see. I'm not sure. I'll probably explain it if I end up doing that. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Skywars, or this Skywars series we're doing here. If you did enjoy, make sure to like the video down below. I know everyone says that on YouTube. But yeah, I don't make these very often, so it would be very appreciated. If you do have any ideas as well, please leave them in the comments and I'll be glad to integrate them. Make sure to check out the GitHub, which is also in the description, and you can fork the project and edit it yourself. You can also make pull requests and all sorts of different things with GitHub, and you can edit the project yourself, and I'll go over what you do if you do end up doing that. So far, no one has done it, and a few people have started the project. So thank you all so much. I love the support. Also, the support on the last video was amazing. We got like 500 views and 34 likes and no dislikes, which is unprecedented for me. So I'm pretty happy with that. To all the new subscribers, welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy the content here. Yeah, if you do have any video suggestions or ideas for this, please, again, let me know in the comments below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Take care.